Hey there, welcome to the beginning of this series in which I will teach you how to create your own AI agent that will help you develop, basically, whether that is to be a lot more hands-off or be a lot more productive. So if you are in that transition, whether you feel it at work or you want to be a lot more productive or do hobby project as you do your 9 to 5, this is exactly what you need. The next video will be about implementation. So I will show you concrete stuff in the next video, but today we need to cover some bases. So if you're already familiar with LLMs and AI, perhaps you can skip this or you can just give it a watch. Now do note that I will not be covering the whole range of how a LLM works, because after even a year and a half of working with this technology, after being a certified Claude architect myself, I still learn things on a daily basis. I think this is a skill set that you need to learn, right? But I'll show you what you need for the series coming ahead so you can jump into implementation as soon as possible and start practicing, not just the theory, right? I learn better by doing things, so my goal here is to bring you to that step, bring to the step of doing things as soon as possible. Okay, so to get started, we'll need to install a coding harness, whether that is Claude Code, Cursor, Copilot, Codex. I'm forgetting a few. There is a bunch now. I personally use Claude Code. I used to use Cursor. One thing that you must not do, basically, is just use ChatGPT, for example. Because if you just use a web-based LLM, there is some tool that the web-based LLM does not have access to. And those tools are things like looking up other files in your project. Because of that web and local barrier that you have there, it can't just look up files on your computer, which makes sense. But you'll need to install something that can. Not only can it read and write your files, it can also run commands, and that is all gated by permission that you set as you go, basically. Now, one thing I want to note is that if you are really close to your code and you're looking to implement these coding agents, I would perhaps not suggest you go with Claude Code immediately, because as you can see, this is my coding environment. This is my coding environment, but we don't really see any code, right? If I want to see code, I do have access to it. So for example, I could go and look at that a script here for backing up. This doesn't really have the same Cadillac as an actual code editor, right? So what I would suggest instead, if you are looking to get into Claude, perhaps install the CLI version of it, which basically you just type in Claude here, and it looks super good. You get to keep your file editor, you get to keep a bunch of little things that you like from having a code editor, but you can still write your prompt over here under Claude. So perhaps start with the terminal version, and at one point, if you ever make the shift like I did to Claude Code, it is very good, and I'm not that close to the code anymore, but it still gives me a good amount of information that is allowing me to make the good decision that I need to do, basically. So yeah, just be aware of that. If you're really close to your code, perhaps going into something like Cursor or Claude Terminal version, the CLI version of Claude, would be a better first step. Now, our second topic is what I think is the most important one. That's also the one that they press the most during the Claude Architect exam, if you ever take it. And it's the fact that an LLM is non-deterministic. Once you fully understand this, you'll know that your job, starting from now to until we figure this out, is really that you are going to try and drive the LLM in such a way that it is as deterministic as possible, but by default, it's not. And that's just the way that these machines are made, because it tries to predict the next output, which is super cool when you're trying to generate images of stuff, I guess. But it's not so cool when you are trying to figure out if you should refund a customer or not. Like one day, the same input one day is going to refund the customer, and the same input on the next day won't do it. That's not really what we're looking for here in terms of creating agent. Now, don't worry, because there are ways to make this 100% deterministic through the use of tools. There's also a way to make it more deterministic through few-shot prompting. A couple of technique exists out there. It's not something we'll be covering here, but in the future on the channel for sure. Our third topic will be the context. A context is going to get you what you want, versus a prompt, which is just going to give you the first prediction that it has. And here what I'm talking about is, instead of writing instruction like create this file, delete this one, fix this bug, you are instead providing more information to what you're really trying to achieve as a goal. So my goal is to fix this feature fully. You are a senior engineer. We're doing this in that project. If you have a memory module installed, it can know about previous conversation you had, perhaps regarding the same topic. So it has a lot more information, and you want to be hitting the LLM with all that information because the LLM is just running once, right? If you're using Claude, for example, there is a small cache that can happen, but usually you come with that full bloat of information, and then it parses that bloat of information, give you the answer back. It's not a constant conversation that you have with Claude or any other LM. It's really just every time you're passing in a big blob and try to figure out the answer. And if you keep on watching the series, in the following videos, you will learn techniques on how to share that context much more efficiently, and also you're going to get like the best result right off the get-go. Keeping on the same theme as the context, we have to talk about the context window. And while the context window is getting a lot bigger now, 1 million token, 250,000 token, you still want to keep a clean and small context, as small as you can. Because if, I'll give you an example, if you're working on the one ticket in Jira and then you're taking the same session to work on the second token, information about the first run that you've made, and like if you ran into bugs or if you did a little bit of debugging or you told him preference regarding this one token, this one Jira, might bleed into the second one. So you're trying to split your context in a clean way as much as you can, right? And one thing that you must know is that the bigger the context is, the bigger you have chances of drifting away from what you're really trying to achieve. So you're trying to split your context as much as you can. Really, there is multiple tools that you can use to do that. You can compact the conversation. You can start fresh. It's always the best option. You can write hands-off file that another session can pick up with the information that you find important in the first one. Multiple technique. And as I said, while we implement in the next 3 video, you'll see some techniques that we use here to make sure that we have clean context pretty much every time that we want to start. And our final topic for today, one of the most useful one, is that these processes that you do on a daily basis, whether that is writing a Jira ticket or debugging a specific thing in your code that only you know, you can turn them into skills. If it's an operation that you do all the time, you can convert them into a skill. And that allows you to rerun the same kind of workflow that you've been through, of course, with added reasoning for a specific scenario. So that is super helpful. And skill is the first thing we'll look into in the next video, because what we will be doing in the next video is we will be importing skills online from a very popular source that has been checked. And it's on the Claude marketplace and things like that to help us create or add a programming methodology to every time we want to create a feature. But that's all I wanted us to touch on before we get started with the next 3 implementation video, where I show you how I work. And as I've mentioned at the beginning, there is so much more to talk about with LLM. It's insane the amount of information that you need to know to understand this machine better. But trust me, you can understand it. Like, it makes a lot more sense now than it used to a year ago for me. So hopefully you're not scared into jumping into this topic, because it is quite powerful, and I think it's going to be a tool that really helps us quite a lot. So please buckle up, do a little bit of implementation, because the earlier you get started with it, the more skilled you build with it. And as you can see, we recently just got a job offer for somebody who had 10 years of Claude. So yeah, you got to get these years in as soon as possible, because these 10-year experience job are starting to pop up already. All right. So guys, hope you enjoy this. Come watch the next one and see if you like it. Cheers.